name's Rob, and welcome to Axel's Garage. Alright, so it's a little windy. If the mic keeps on like coming in and out, please excuse me. The camera's all screwed up and we need to get a new one. But I'm back here on the Camaro. Now in the last video, and I'll link it up here, we put in a thermostat and gasket because we weren't convinced that the engine was getting up to temp. So we put in the thermostat, went for a ride, and for the first time the temperature gauge got up to normal range, and we were really happy about that. Also, what we did at that time was we cleaned the idle air control valve, and I didn't really notice any immediate changes to that, but I was happy, and I was like an idiot at the end of the video because I was real happy that the temperature was coming up, and we knew that it was fully warming up, and to see if that solved our fuel consumption problem. Well, as it turns out, that temperature gauge working only worked for like a day, and then it went back down. So I think we have a gauge problem, but we do know now that the engine is warming up all the way. As far as cleaning that idle air control, as my wife drove it during the course of the week, she experienced some really wacky idle stuff. One time she started it up, I was in the garage, she's a good 120 feet away on the other side of the house, and I heard the engine screaming at like, it had to be like 3,000, 3,500 RPMs. I'm like, what the heck is she doing? And it was just idling up that high. And she was unable to kick it down, turned it off, started it, still idling high, and then it went away. And then she did report during the course of the week some weird idle stuff where she'd take her foot off the gas and the car would feel like it was just still pushing through, like she hadn't taken her foot off the gas. So we know that cleaning that idle air control valve definitely affected the idle, pretty much in a negative way. But it definitely affected the idle, so we know that there's definitely an issue there. So I went online and I got a new idle air control valve, and I got it here, and you could see it there. I ordered a brand name. I'll put a link to it in the description below, but I noticed lately when you order stuff on Amazon and you order a brand name, it's got some numbers on it. I didn't check the numbers to see, but you order a brand name part, then you get it, and this is the way it comes, in a little baggie like this, no box or anything. And I could give a shit less if they send it to me in a box, as long as it is what I'm paying for. But hopefully this is the right one. I'll link it in the description below. But we're gonna put this in, see if that cures her idle problem. The only other like easily changeable part to go along with that is the throttle position sensor, which I think is going to be next anyway. Like some people say, you know, like this part probably is 31 years old on this vehicle, and it's probably pretty worn out. So even though if you clean it, doesn't always mean it's going to work well, because it's probably just time for it to be replaced. So this is an easy, well, I shouldn't say that because I screw myself every time I say that, but we're going to go get the two tools that we should need to put this in, and we'll see if this does anything. Right, so our idle air control valve is right here. And it's got a wire connector on it with a little lock on the bottom. So you push that lock down. Let me see if I can grab it without blocking you too much, but you push the locking tab down and pull the wire off and move it out of the way so that you could get in here and change this. Now it's got I'll show you here. It's got like a thing where you can put a wrench on it, but you can't fit any wrench on that. So normally you just take a pair of these adjustable pliers, water pump pliers. You tell me what they're called. Take a set of these and you take it out, and that's what we're going to do. Now, generally speaking, it's a little easier to get it out if you take your air intake off, but we're going to see if we can get in there and do this without taking it off. Alright, so once you have it out, I put some gloves on, but here it is. What I'm going to do is, this little hat, it's there's a word for it, but this little piece here seats against a female end of it, and I want to make sure that's clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray a little carb cleaner in there as best I can, and then I'm going to take my finger wrapped around this with a scouring pad wrapped around my finger and get it in there and try to just give it a little wipe, and then I'll blow it out with a little more carb cleaner. Pull off, and I actually thought, but you can, I'm trying to see if I could stick a finger in there. I can actually see it from the other side. It looks fairly clean. Let's get this in here. Okay, I got it in as far as I can go by hand. Seems tight. Gasket seated nice. Plug the little harness back in. Alright. Plug my. This is your I don't know if I said it, this is the throttle position sensor. Get that plugged back in. Okay, so now that's in. Now, if you remember from the last video, you got to relearn. It's got to relearn where it is. So you plug it in, turn the ignition on, and I'm going to do that now. All right, so now with the ignition on, you come back in here and you unplug it. Okay, so it's unplugged. Now you can turn the ignition off. All right, then with the ignition off, plug it back in. All right. Note to self: next time, take the air box off. All right, that's plugged back in. Take this air intake off. Much easier. Be careful around these rigid plastic vacuum hoses. They're horrible. They crack. If you lean on them, they break. So, all right, that's in. That's good. All right, it's a lot windier than I thought out here. Holy cow. All right, so we're all set. Let's start it up and see what happens. It seems to be idling a lot better, and for some reason the temperature gauge is working again. It went all the way up to normal operating temperature. It started out a little bit above idle. When it warmed up, we heard it noticeably go down to where it should be. The tach's not working either, so we don't know what the actual idle was at, but it seems to be good. So we're going to drive it for the week. We're going to fill it up with gas. We're going to drive it for the week. We got the temperature. It's operating at normal temperatures. The idle control valve is in there. We're going to see what our gas mileage looks like and what our drivability looks like within a week. We'll let it go a week, and then we'll see what we're going to throw at it next. In the meantime, I got some of the seats to play with and some other little tidbits. And we'll see you on the next IROC video. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.